Are we talking about history or legends on our Talking Over Old Times feature series here at the Olympia Tumwater Foundation? This is Don Trosper, and today I have to say it's a little bit of both. Sometimes when researching history, I wonder if what I'm reading is absolutely factual or a fable based on real events. Usually the history we read is based upon someone's perspective on the history they were living at the time, or perhaps a family story. Legends can be passed down from generation to generation and embellished by each generation. In short, we take a lot of these historical stories with a grain of salt and simply enjoy them and perhaps learn from them. Here's a case in point, a passed down legend involving an Olympia preacher and hard-nosed businessman and former sea captain Clanrick Crosby. It's a story we're calling The Legend of the Sea Captain and the Preacher. The preacher was a young, scholarly-looking man with a strong commitment to his flock in Olympia, the Reverend J.F. DeVore. Preacher DeVore approached Crosby with a proposal to donate some of the lumber from Crosby's mill in Tumwater for the building of a new church building in Olympia. According to legend, Crosby didn't think much of preachers and their ability to put in a hard day's physical labor. So with a sarcastic smile, he told the slender young man of the cloth that he could have as much lumber as he could carry and raft away from the mill by himself in one full day. DeVore agreed to the challenge, and the very next morning before daybreak he arrived at the mill site. He prayed and started right to work. The large green timbers were quite heavy and had to be carried or dragged about 200 yards over the mucky ground of the tide flats at the mouth of the Deschutes. He worked hard and steadily. Legend has it that as Crosby watched the preacher working, his smirking smile slowly became serious and even perhaps turned into a frown. The preacher was stronger and more determined than he expected. Crosby even tried to get him to stop for a good hearty lunch, but the preacher declined. He didn't want to waste any daylight. He simply took a few bites of a sandwich and pressed on. Finally, as the day neared its end, Captain Crosby sighed and smiled, admitting that the man of the cloth was truly a tough, hard-working individual who was not afraid to put his faith to work. Reverend DeVore had gathered all the lumber he needed to build the best church building in the Northwest at that time. In doing so, he had gained the respect of the people in the Olympia Tumwater area, or so the legend goes.